Welcome to my English learning channel. In this channel, I will share tips, strategies, and activities to help you improve your English skills. My goal is to make your language learning enjoyable and effective. Get ready to dive into a world of language learning where I'll provide practical guidance and engaging content to improve your proficiency. Let's start this exciting adventure together, and please follow my Instagram and Facebook. Their links are in caption. Good day to you guys. Welcome to our fourth lesson. Present simple, action verbs, negative. Today we are going to learn how to make the negative present simple tense with action verbs. Let's review. What is an action verb? Drink, eat, go, read. These are some of the examples for action verbs. As we talked about it before, action verbs are the verbs that we are doing something. There is an action going on. That's why they are called action verbs. In order to learn how to make them negative, first let's review how we make negative sentence with be verbs. I'm not tired. We add not to our be verb, and this is how we make it negative. It isn't sunny today. Again, we add not to our be verb, and this is how we make it negative. Now, let's take a look at this sentence. I like to walk. Well, I want to make this negative, but as you can see, there is no be verb in this sentence. How am I going to make this sentence negative? What should I do now? Well, this is where we need help. Here, we use auxiliary verbs, or very simpler, we can call them helping verbs. But what are they? As you can see in this slide, we use do or does, which are called auxiliary verbs, are here to help us. All right, first, we need to find and add a do or does in our correct place, and then very simple, add not to them to make our sentence negative. Let's take a look at our next slide to see how it works. Well, in this slide you can see I do not. He, she, it does not. You, we, they do not. And now let's take a look at our next slide to see the short form. Do not turns to don't. Does not turns to doesn't. That easy. Okay, let's look at some examples and learn how we can use don't or doesn't. Well, this is our sentence. I like running. First, I need to find my action verb. Here my action verb is like. Now, as we saw in our previous slide, we need to use don't. So, simply I add don't before my action verb, and it goes like this. I don't like running. Easy peasy. You work in a cafe. First, I need to find my action verb. What is it? Work. Work is my action verb. So we saw on the board before that we need to use don't for my subject, which is you. You don't work in a cafe. I simply added don't before my action verb. Jack drinks coffee every morning. Well, this one is a bit tricky. Look, we have our action verb here, which is drinks. And it's he or Jack. So we need to use doesn't before my action verb. But when I have doesn't in my sentence, I take S from my action verb away, and that's it. Jack doesn't drink. No S. Why? Because I have doesn't. Jack doesn't drink coffee every morning. So, for third person singular, when we use doesn't, we take S away from our action verb. That's all. Lisa walks to school every day. Now, I'm sure that you have learned what we need to do. Lisa doesn't walk to school every day. Because we use doesn't, we take S out of our action verb and continue. Lisa doesn't walk to school every day. The lion runs very fast. The lion doesn't run very fast. Because we have doesn't, we take S away and that's it. The lion doesn't run very fast. My friend and I go shopping every weekend. My friend and I don't go shopping every weekend. So, as we did before, we find our action verb, which is go here, and just add don't or doesn't. So, because it's we use don't. My friend and I don't go shopping every weekend. That's it. Sarah and Neil eat out on Mondays. Sarah and Neil don't eat out on Mondays. And now it's time to talk about have and has in negative form. Let's take a look at our next slide and see how it's done. When we are making our verb have negative in singular third person, which is has, because we use doesn't, it actually turns into have. Let's take a look at some examples. Let's take a look at our first example. I have an exam tomorrow. Easy peasy. We add don't or doesn't before our verb, which is have or has. Here we have. So we just need to add don't before our verb have. I don't have an exam tomorrow. Easy peasy, piece of cake, and it's done. Let's take a look at our next example. You have a bad cold. Simply, we add don't or doesn't before our verb. You don't have a bad cold. Amanda has a black dress. Now, this is our tricky part. Because we have the verb has, we know that we should use doesn't. Amanda doesn't. Because of doesn't, we don't use has. We use have. Amanda doesn't have a black dress. Amanda doesn't have a black dress. That's it. Andy has a sports car. So here Andy is third person singular. Before has, we use doesn't to make it negative, and as you have learned by now, we turn has to have. So it goes like this. Andy doesn't have a sports car. The house has red walls. Let's make this negative. Easy peasy. The house doesn't have red walls. You have blue eyes. Piece of cake. We add don't or doesn't before our verb, which is have. So here we need to use don't. You don't have blue eyes. We have good news. We add don't or doesn't before our verb, which here is absolutely don't, and it goes like this. We don't have good news. That's it. They have a nice view. It goes like this. They don't have a nice view. And these are all our examples. Now, as you know, it's quiz time. Are you ready? As always, there are some questions that you need to answer them with don't or doesn't. But be careful. When you see he, she, or it, after you add doesn't, you need to take S away from the verb, or if it's has, you need to turn them to have. Now, take your time, answer the questions, and we can check together afterward. Okay, let's check the answers together. I don't go to school. He doesn't like pasta. She doesn't live in Turkey. It doesn't often rain in the desert. You don't work in a shop. We don't live in an apartment. They don't watch TV. Don't miss out our next video. We are going to talk about action verbs question form. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer them. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video. Stay tuned for my next video. See you soon.